What is the formula? 6 and 6, 12. So if I tell you how many number of fundamental particles do you have? 12 particles from which everything is composed. There can be unstable particles, but these are 6 quarks, they are fundamental, and 6 leptons, they are fundamental, and 12, and here 12 force mediators. So 12 force mediators, 3 8 plus 3 1 12. Total 24 particles create everything. Remember, force is also particles. Force is the mediation of particles. Okay. So the universe is composed of elementary particles, all spin half, and force mediators, all spin 1. But according to our theory, that theory was formulated by these 3 persons. Particle physics deals with the properties of these elementary particles and their forces along them. And what is the law which governs them? You have learned it is quantum theory and relativity. And the 3 persons who formulated this law, they are Abdul Salam, Steven Weinberg, and Glashow. They got Nobel Prize, all of them, for formulating the most successful theory of all the fundamental particles. Now, the theory is called the standard model of elementary particles and their interactions. It tells all 3 forces, electromagnetic, strong and weak nuclear force, and all the 12 particles, leptons and quarks, all together is composed within the standard model of elementary particles. So it is a remarkable theory. But when they were formulating this theory, listen to me now carefully, this is the crunch point of the story. When they were formulating this theory, they said that everything will work. Most of the microparticles have non-zero masses, of course electrons, everything has a non-zero mass, and therefore all atoms, molecules, this I have said. But model shows that the particle can acquire mass, only these particles can, after Big Bang, they can acquire mass only if we assume the existence of one more particle which spins 0, which they call Higgs Boson. So remember, it is end of 1970s. These 3 gentlemen, they said that now I give you a theory of standard model which encompasses all forces of all particles, but these particles can be massive, electrons, muon, they can be massive only if we, or quarks, only if we assume there exists one more particle which spins 0, because otherwise these particles after Big Bang will remain massless. As I told you, they will become massless. So they can acquire masses only through a particle, which is called, they call it Higgs boson. So people told them, so this is the most interesting part of the story, people told them that you have assumed that there is another particle, and which is responsible for inducting masses to all of them. After Big Bang, they were massless. This particle giving them mass, and as a result, they are forming proton atoms, molecules, and everything is there. So you are saying that this Higgs boson is the root of all existence. If there is no Higgs boson, there will be no mass. If there is no mass, there will be nothing. They said yes. People told them, fine, then can we check your theory? And the theory was being checked by many thousands of experiments. Every experiment turns out to be right. Every experiment is one of the most incredible theories proposed ever in science. All of them got Nobel Prize. But there is one very sad part. We could never find this invisible hero. He is the hero, he is doing everything, he is there in the theory, but we cannot find it. And I tell you why. Why this is eluding us. To understand this, try to understand what is the concept of minimum energy state or vacuum. All theory.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, it's about gravitation.
Yes.
Sir, on the stage, suppose I keep two metal balls.
On a stage.
On the stage, I keep two metal balls.
Okay.
They will not attract each other. They will stay at that position.
Correct.
But when I put them on a suspended rubber sheet, you know, they will come to the center. Though I put them into different directions. So why?
When you put them into rubber sheet, the rubber sheet, because of the gravitational force, it becomes curved. Okay? In the stage cannot be curved by the gravitational force, but rubber sheet being flexible, it will become curved. And as a result, since it is curved, there will be component of forces around this which will pull them towards each other. So this is the effect of gravitation. This has got nothing to do with discussion here. This is the effect of gravitation.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so can you listen to me here? Okay. So see, all theories of nature must have a minimum energy state where the system becomes stable and excited to higher energy state when energy is supplied from outside. Do you know the example? Can you tell me that when I release something, why it goes down? All of you will say Earth is attracting it, right? But if I don't say that, instead I say that as it goes down, its height is decreasing, its potential energy is decreasing. Isn't it a correct statement? That if you take it as a principle that every system tries to reduce its potential energy, then it will tell you that it must go in this direction because potential energy becomes smaller. So, every system forms. Okay, can you tell me one thing? Do you have any idea that why this pen is looking like this and this tabletop is looking like this? Why this speaker is looking like this? Can you tell me? Do you know the reason? Reason is very interesting. Each of them many atoms and molecules. Each of these objects have many atoms and molecules and they are attracting each other. You calculate the total potential energy of this, total potential energy of all the atoms and molecules. You will see that in this shape it is minimum. So it remains in the minimum potential energy situation. And therefore when you try to deform it, its potential energy increases. So it doesn't want the potential energy should increase, so it will just pull it back again. It's called elasticity. Elasticity is nothing but trying to reduce its potential energy. So everything has its shape because of potential energy reduction. This is the most fundamental principle of nature. Everything tries to reduce potential energy. Can any one of you tell me what is the potential energy between two electric charges Q1 and Q2? Any answer? Two electric charges, what is the potential energy? Anybody? At least class 12? Okay, quite. Let me give you the answer. The potential energy between two charges Q1, Q2 is Q1 into Q2 by R, where R is the distance between them. Now, suppose both the charges are positive or negative, both are positive or both are negative, then Q1 into Q2 is positive, because 2 negative multiplication makes it positive, 2 positive multiplication makes it positive. Then can you tell me how Q1 into Q2 by R can decrease when R increases, right? And therefore like charge repels to increase the R. So like charge repels because to reduce the potential energy. But if one is positive, other is negative, what will happen? It will be minus Q1 into Q2 by R, right? One is positive, other is negative. Then it can be reduced if R decreases. So it is like opposite charge attracts. So it's a very fundamental principle that every system tries to reduce its potential energy. Remember, this is a fundamental thing. So every system, nature, has a minimum energy, and where the system becomes stable, tries to reduce its potential energy. And if you excite, it goes to higher energy. See, I am exciting. I am making the energy higher. But if I release it, it will go down. I am exciting it again. So since E equal to mc squared, firstly in terms of particle, minimum energy state is no particle, because if there is no particle, then energy will be zero. If there is no particle, energy will be zero. If you create one particle, then you supply some energy, it becomes 1 into mc square. If you create two particles, it will be 2 into mc square if you supply that energy. So basically, for all spin-half fermions and spin-1 bosons, what I have described, the minimum energy state is just empty vacuum, that is no particle, energy is zero, and you create one or other particle. See this picture. This is the minimum energy. You create one particle, two particle, three particle, four particle, and you generate, increase the energy. So, but spin zero boson, that is Higgs, has a strange property that even at the when there are no Higgs, even then there is an energy which is not zero, but they stay in a frozen state. Now let me tell you this very clearly. Suppose your minimum energy state can be that you are not here. Correct? You are out. And you are first excited in that bringing one of your So, but suppose you are such a strange kind of human being that your minimum energy is not that you are away from this room, your first excited is you are here, second is two of you are here. It's not that. Your minimum energy is all of you are sleeping. You have all slept. So you are not you. So, this is the minimum energy state of these spin zero objects. Spin half and spin 1 have minimum energy, means they are not here, they are out. But for spin zero, which is a Higgs boson, their minimum energies, they are just sleeping. And you are sleeping, suppose I just make a sound, you just suddenly wake up. And then you are a Higgs particle. But before that you are not a Higgs particle, you are Higgs sleeping. That is your minimum energy. So this is the property of a spin zero object. So now what Weinberg-Salams did, they showed Higgs boson are frozen or sleeping at the vacuum at the ground state with non-zero value. It is not zero. They are not. It is not that they are not there. They are there, but only frozen, sleeping, and pop up as a living particle when you supply energy to create them equal to mc². So for other particles, you create them by energy. For Higgs, you create it, but before creation, they are just sleeping. For other particles, they are not even sleeping. They are just not there. So, see this, for any other fermion, other particles is 0 plus you create them. But for spin zero Higgs, it is sleeping Higgs plus you create them. It is sleeping Higgs, frozen Higgs plus you create them. This is the property of spin zero particle. Now what Salam-Weinberg did, is the following. See, this is your frozen Higgs, and you excite them, you popped up here, it is your living Higgs. It is Higgs who has been, from its sleep, it has developed come here. So you have woken up. So if m0 is rest mass of the Higgs, then to create such you need m0 c² amount of energy. Einstein taught you. There will be no living Higgs particle to observe since we cannot create them. So all are frozen. So do you know the problem what happened? Listen carefully. Higgs mass is such that in order to create them we need m0 c² energy according to Einstein. But this energy, it was found that some 100 times GeV, GeV is a unit of energy called giga electron volt. 1 electron volt is the energy of an electron which travels between potential difference of 1 volt. It travels 1 volt. Giga means 10 to the power 9. So about 100 giga electron volt was the energy predicted mass of a Higgs, and you cannot create them because we didn't have that energy. But when you don't create them, what is their position? When you cannot create them, for this spin zero particle, their position is they are sleeping. It is not that they are not there. They are there, but they are sleeping. So Salam-Weinberg assumed that since you cannot raise that energy, all Higgs are sleeping in this room, everywhere in the universe, very much in this room. They are all sleeping. But you cannot wake them up because you don't have that energy. Suppose I made this sound, will you wake up from your sleep? This is not a big sound, but if I do this, then you may jump. So how much energy you can give to create a wake up a Higgs? Big Bang is a very huge energy, but let me show you Big Bang, what happened at that time. But that Big Bang energy has now, because of the expansion, has reduced to a very small value. But I now want to recreate it. I want to recreate Big Bang energy here. That is not easy. But Salam-Weinberg, you know what they did? They say, let me assume that it is sleeping and I cannot wake it up. But what is the consequence of such sleeping Higgs? The consequence is the following. Consequence is, see, all are frozen Higgs, all sleeping. Okay. But now you imagine the following. I was an electron, listen to me carefully. I am an electron created after Big Bang with no mass and cannot form an atom. And I was traveling with speed of light. But suddenly, you are all sleeping Higgs in this room. I entered in this room. I was traveling with speed of light merrily, but suddenly I faced the crowd. What will happen? My speed will decrease. I cannot travel smoothly because all of you are completely filling up this room. How can I move? It is not easy for me now. As a result, my speed will decrease. But a person who cannot see you because you are sleeping, you are not visible, suddenly will see why I was traveling with speed of light, my speed has decreased. He will say, my inertia has increased, and my mass has, I have gained mass, and therefore my speed has decreased. You know, a fat person moves with lower speed, right? So suddenly they will see my speed has decreased, therefore I have gained inertia, this mass. So let me show you the picture. Let's see, this is the sleeping Higgs, all of you in this room, and the frozen sea supplies energy to other particles traveling through the space due to interaction. So, when I am traveling through them, you will give me force, that is interaction, and thus the particle acquires masses from the frozen Higgs. See, this person is electron, he is suddenly wanting to travel through the frozen Higgs and become slower because of the obstruction created by the Higgs. And they become massive, and electron moment it becomes massive, it forms an atom.